Casey's put a lot of young guys in the room that have a lot of potential. And I'm very excited to see all the young guys like Rock and everybody in that room just go and take advantage of the opportunity that they're going to have next year.
Tyler, I realize that Freddie Roach doesn't coach you and didn't recruit you necessarily, but what does he mean to essentially this team and this roster in terms of the relationships he has?
Coach Roach, he means a lot to this team and this roster just because he's one of us. Coach Roach played here, and a lot of guys, I'm not sure if a lot of guys know that, but he knows what it means to be an Alabama football player, and just his insight is different. You can tell, like he's one of us. So just having him around means a lot to everybody.
Tyler, you're often described as an old school player in a new world of college football. Where does that come from, and do you have a message to kind of the new era of transfer portal and opt-outs and things like that? What is your take on it?
So to answer that first question, I watched A Football Life a lot growing up. So one of the first ones I ever watched was Deacon Jones. So Deacon Jones was always known for the head slap and just his brand of football. And then I'm a big Steelers fan, so I used to watch a lot of old YouTube videos, a lot of old documentaries of the Steel Curtain. So, and then just even watching the Steelers growing up, like just watching Troy Polamalu, he's my favorite football player of all time. Just seeing how he was a heat-seeking missile, James Harrison, just all those great Steelers defenses. And then when we played the Ravens, you got to see Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, and then when we played the Bengals, you got to see Vontaze Burfict. So just a lot of physicality, just watching a lot of AFC North football. So that's where that comes from. And then my message to can you ask that second question
Just
again?
kind of what's your take on what's going on right now in college football? As someone who's kind of viewed as old school, what would you say to those athletes that might make a decision to enter the transfer portal? What's the value in staying put or hitting the road?
Every situation is unique. You just have to really make sure that you're making the decision that you're making for the right decisions, and not just based off financial benefit, but like seeing if you're going to develop there, seeing if the coach that you're going to be playing for is going to develop you, seeing if you're going to be able to develop there as a man, seeing if your credits transfer over. A lot of people don't think about that. I just graduated this past weekend, and just being able to do that, like nobody's ever going to be able to take my degree away from me. So making sure your credits transfer over, making sure that level of education that you wanted at your initial school is going to meet up to it at your next school. So just make sure that you're making the decisions for the right reasons, and not just like, oh man, my coach doesn't like me, or I'm not going to play here. Maybe you're not playing for a reason. Maybe you just need to get better. So you need to really self-reflect before you make essentially a life-altering decision so quickly.
How familiar are you with Michael Carroll's game, just being an IMG guy?
I've seen a few clips of his, and I love the way he plays, and all the coaches at IMG, they tell me about how physical and how dominant he is, and I'm very excited to see if it translates here.
You kind of have that pipeline. You kind of have that pipeline of IMG. Have you talked? I'm sure you probably talked with him at a recruiting visit. Have you kind of talked with him about continuing that IMG offensive line pipeline to Alabama?
Oh, of course, I definitely have. Just coming from IMG, coming from IMG being here is looking back at it. IMG is really Alabama Junior. And what I mean by that, you have everything that you need to succeed. You just have to take advantage of the resource that you have there, and just I definitely wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for IMG Academy. So to see guys take that route, leaving their hometown at such a young age to better themselves, I have tons of respect for guys who make that decision, and even more respect for guys who make the decision to come here after IMG as well. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to keeping that pipeline going.
Tyler, you keep saying the word legendary. How are you going to keep that legacy with you, your advice to the new guys coming into this Bama factor, and even some of the guys that are going to be taking this veteran and leadership spot next year?
I'm just giving them the same message that I've been given by some of the leaders that came before me. Like a piece of advice that I would take with me for the rest of my life was given to me by Will Anderson. He said, just take it one day at a time. And as simple as that may seem, like it'll change your whole mindset, because when you first get to Alabama, they sit you down and they're like, okay, we're about to go into workouts. After that, you got fourth quarter. After that, you got spring ball. Then you get 2.5 weeks off from May. Then you come back for July workouts. Then you got fall camp. After that, you got the season. And then it just keeps going and going and going and going until you leave. And that seems like a lot when you get there as a freshman. But if you really break it down to like, okay, let me make sure I'm on time for class tomorrow. Let me make sure I win and complete tomorrow. Let me make sure I dominate tomorrow, so I can have a better day after tomorrow. Let me dominate today so I can be great tomorrow. That's what I meant to say. But just taking everything one day at a time. Like, let me make sure I win today. Let me make sure I take care of everything today. Tomorrow will end up better. So just passing on a little piece of advice like that.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it.